Welcome to Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine. I'm your host, Jill Jardine, master's in counseling psychology, longtime astrologer, psychic healer, and yogi. Welcome to the episode, Neptune Retrograde from June 30th to December 6th, 2023, into the mystic, revisiting our dreams and vision. In this episode, I'm going to discuss Neptune retrograde in Pisces and what it means for us collectively and for our zodiac signs. So stay tuned. Welcome to the episode on Neptune retrograde in Pisces from June 30th through December 6, 2023, and how we may be affected by this transit. Listen up to learn how your sun sign will be affected. This episode was inspired because of the mist and fog every day on my beach walk from June 30th through July 3rd. Neptune rules mist, fog, and the oceans. Think of King Neptune in Roman mythology, who appears arising from the ocean holding his weapon, the trident, which is the astrological symbol for Neptune. Neptune went retrograde on June 30th, the day I began being immersed in thick fog during my morning beach walk. This continued for successive 3 days. The beach was foggy, misty, the weather was humid, and I couldn't see too far ahead of myself. It was so surreal. It made me think of heaven, or how heaven is portrayed in the movies, when someone dies and they end up in a nebulous, misty place and can see figures in the distance, but can't make out where they are or who these figures are until the voice of God comes booming through and says, "Ah, you've arrived." So for several mornings, I walked through the misty, heavy fog, feeling a sense of surreal. Interesting, when you can't see what's behind you or in front of you, you just have to pay attention to walking through the present moment. Very spiritual and zen. So Neptunian, the most spiritual or addictive planet in the zodiac. I thought to myself, this is Neptune, this heavy fog and mist by the ocean. Then I realized, after 3 days on July 2nd, that Neptune had gone retrograde on June 30th, and the archetypal energies of this planet were welcoming me every morning for the first 3 days of its retrograde transit. So I chanted Sanskrit mantras and asked to connect closer to the sublime through the nebulous fog, something which Neptune could deliver to me. Neptune is an outer planet in astrology, also called the transpersonal planet, and where it is transiting has an effect on the collective consciousness. Neptune is a slower moving planet, taking 165 years to orbit the sun. It takes 14 years to travel through a zodiac sign. Thus, it is a marker of generations or a generational planet. For instance, from 1957 through 1970, Neptune transited through the sign Scorpio, creating a generation inspired by sex, drugs, and rock and roll and spiritual awareness who all came of age during the 1970s and 80s and were very impacted by the music of those times. Sex and drugs were rampant when this generation came of age. Scorpio rules sex and drugs. When Neptune transited Scorpio from 1957 through 1970, this marked the era of escapism. Escape through alcohol, sex, and later drugs was prevalent during these years. Just think of the transformation of Don Draper in Mad Men from the 1950s, late 50s, early 60s, hardworking admin to evolving into the alcoholic, tripping, sexual maniac that he became through 1970. During this cycle from 1957 to 1970, hippies, cults, and tripping on drugs like LSD was prominent. Richard Alpert and Timothy Leary introduced the psychedelic culture into America, leaving their jobs at Harvard to pursue psychedelic experience in a non-academic environment. Timothy Leary was an iconic leader for the burgeoning new reality, tripping on various substances, urging people to turn on, tune in, and drop out during Neptune's transit through Scorpio. Meanwhile, Richard Alpert found his Neptunian bliss in India with guru named Karoli Baba and became Ram Dass, a leading spiritual teacher in the years that followed. During Neptune's transit through Scorpio in the 60s, medicine had taken enormous strides, especially with the prescription and use of painkillers, opiates, and other prescribed drugs and hallucinogens. Neptune rules altered states, whether they are achieved through spiritual practices or through the use of substances. During Neptune's transit through Scorpio, there was a strong interest in outer space, reflected by the inner side interest in inner worlds and after-death states appearing during these years. Many psychics and sensitives were born while Neptune transited Scorpio, including me. According to Isabel Hickey in her book, Cosmic Astrology, quote, Neptune belongs to another dimension, the psychic worlds. It is not interested in worldly success. It is psychic, mystical, dreamy, sensitive, emotional, and receptive to nature. Fog and mist are related to Neptune, for they screen the landscape and one does not see clearly. Unquote. Neptune rules the oceans and the moon rules the tides. Neptune rules dissolution, illusion, delusion, scams, thieves, and what is behind the veil or hidden from our conscious view. Very similar to Ketu, the south node in Vedic astrology. Neptune is described as one of the most elusive planets in astrology, and few astrologers, unless they have a prominent Neptune placement, can read it in a chart correctly because of this elusive quality. Neptune, located in a prominent sector in a natal chart, such as conjunct an angle, specifically the ascendant, which is the first house, the rising sign. And if Neptune is in that first house or conjunct the horizon or ascendant, or located at the midheaven or highest part in the chart in either the 9th or 10th houses, can bestow a person with psychic abilities, sensitivities, and connection with otherworldly energies, such as the ability to channel. It can also give an elusive beauty, or it can make the native an alcoholic or addict, as Neptune rules alcohol and addiction. Think of Marilyn Monroe, the ultimate Neptunian archetype, with her surreal beauty, addictions, glamour, film presence, and star quality, who embodied all these qualities with Neptune conjunct her ascendant in Libra. It will bring these results as well in a person if it is conjunct or close to a planet such as the Sun, Moon, Mercury, or Mars. Neptune has an association with dreams, romance, deception, glamour, and illusion. It brings through the inspiration that leads to brilliant works of art and music, but is also to blame for issues around delusion and lies and addiction. Governing the realms of all things hidden, it can be compared to the act of walking through a thick fog with an uncertainty of what dangers or rewards lie ahead. When this planet goes retrograde, our perception of reality is turned on its head as we are forced to contend with both fantasy and illusion. Neptune rules the glamour industries such as film, photography, and even the beauty industries such as fashion and beauty to some extent. Neptune rules the sign Pisces, which it has been traveling through in home court since 2011 until March 30th, 2025. Again, it takes 14 years to go through a sign. The whole generation of Neptune and Pisces is being born during these years from 2011 through 2025. When Neptune is in Pisces, many have envisioned an ideal world centered around compassion, mercy, empathy, service, sacrifice, intuition, artistry, or spirituality. We're not quite there yet, are we? And we only have a couple years to get there. However, people are becoming more sensitive, intuitive, and imaginative. The desire to escape has escalated, though, during these years with overdoses on drugs, suicides, rising alcoholism, liver disease, increasing drug use, and drug and alcohol related deaths. During the Neptune and Pisces transit, the booming cannabis industry emerged. The use of psychedelic mushrooms, ayahuasca, and other psychedelic substances is burgeoning as well. The transit of Neptune and Pisces is bringing attention to water, the lack of water, inundation of water, and the health of our water supply and oceans. We've had an increased amount of hurricanes, floods, rising water lines, and water inundations since Neptune has been transiting Pisces. More attention has been and will be brought to ocean life and the health of our oceans, including fish, dolphins, and whales. So Neptune is ruled by Pisces and is currently transiting through the sign Pisces. Pisces is the archetype of merging with spiritual forces, but it lacks the discernment of its polar opposite sign Virgo. And that merging may also be with something outside of oneself, including merging into a relationship or with unwholesome forces. In its high vibration, Pisces can be considered a spiritual sign. In its lower vibration, it is more addictive and codependent. In astrology, Pisces is said to rule the spiritual body, while Virgo rules the physical body. When Neptune goes retrograde in Pisces, there will be attention to illness, specifically undiagnosed illnesses, viruses, and other health issues that are hard to track or determine the cause. Pisces in astrology rules the 12th house, which indicates the end of life. When Neptune retrogrades, there may be more focus on death and dying, and people having choices in ending their life or the end of life. Using substances for care, such as cannabis and psychedelic mushrooms, to ease pain and reach higher states of consciousness before death as life winds down, may be explored. More attention in the mainstream about end of life care, end of life issues, hospice, death, dying, death doulas, like birth doulas, and the spirituality of death. These issues aren't really being addressed in our Western society, and they will become more predominant, especially with the planet Saturn also traveling through Pisces at this time. Also, toxins and toxicity will become an issue, especially toxins in our waters, oil spills, and other chemical spills, and leaks of various source will be in the news. There will be many water inundations, and expect an intense hurricane season on the eastern seaboard of the United States during this Neptune and Pisces retrograde, especially because this year, 2023, Saturn is also retrograding in Pisces at the same time during the hurricane season. Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, rules deception and delusion. So there will be more scams, spiritual, financial, and otherwise. This coincides with the economic recession. So watch out for all those scammers out there who want to take your money. Also, there may be more news about those who live in a Neptunian way in the fringe of society, surviving on fraud, stealing, and other nefarious means, such as grifters, homeless, gypsies, tramps, and thieves. There will be a big surge in the mainstream seeking spirituality, but we cannot be convinced that it will all be true teachings. There will be also a rise in fake shamans and spiritual charlatans or preachers and teachers who are out to steal your soul and your money. Remember, Neptune rules boundaries, so protect your boundaries and don't believe everything you hear. Take off those rose-colored glasses. Now let's talk about Neptune retrograde in Pisces from June 30th through December 6th, 2023. Neptune is the planet of dreams and illusions, so its retrogrades subtly affect the way we perceive our realities. Neptune is a transpersonal planet that can affect groups of people when it retrogrades, sometimes waking populations out of a collective illusion being perpetuated by the media or government. Neptune backspins once a year for about 5 months at a time. When Neptune retrogrades, the sign Neptune is transiting through, and Pisces, the sign Neptune rules, will be affected. In the current case of Neptune retrograde, it is transiting through its own sign Pisces, so Pisceans are feeling it strongly. Pisceans are extremely impacted by this Neptune retrograde cycle because Saturn is also retrograde in Pisces. When Neptune goes retrograde, it helps to integrate our dreams and visions. We will find out where we have deluded ourselves and where in life are we wearing those rose-colored glasses of illusion, and where have we been led down the garden path. Neptune retrograde is a good time for deep spiritual practices and connecting with Source. Meditation and spiritual retreats are enhanced. Getting away from the mundane and creative pursuits are favored. So see how you can retreat from the mundane or the everyday dull routines with Neptune retrograde and access inner creativity, inner beauty, inner love, and touch the sublime. Stay tuned for the next segment when I explain what Neptune retrograde in Pisces means for each zodiac sign. Would you like more wealth, prosperity, and love in your life? Would you like to develop your intuition so you can make better decisions? Well, I have developed online courses to help you. I have applied my years of experience of helping clients to experience more successful, prosperous, happy, and fulfilling lives with metaphysical techniques, tools, and powerful positive processes. I have created a series of empowering workshops. Check out my new online courses on Sanskrit mantras for wealth, prosperity, love, and to develop your intuition. Check them out at jilljardineastrology.com/ M as in Mary, C as in cosmic, S as in seen. That is jilljardineastrology.com/MCS. Pisces. Tag you're it, Pisces. Swimming through that Neptunian delusional fog, trying to find your way home. You also have Saturn to contend with, swimming backward through Pisces, not offering much help with discernment and setting good boundaries. Watch for deception and gullibility. Relationships will be tested to see if they can hold up with these new energies affecting you personally. Who really has your back and can help you swim these Neptunian tides? You can shape-shift and be chameleon-like to see through the veil, but don't lose touch with your core essence and what you will not tolerate from others. Learn how to trance dance and you'll be all set. Aries. Neptune is transiting through your house of karma and the unseen. You may suffer some losses in your life that were unexpected. Watch for self-sabotage tendencies. This could be a very spiritual time for you when you witness miracles and see the strong connection between the physical plane and spiritual realms. You'll feel this retrograde more profoundly than almost any other member of the zodiac Aries, as your hazy 12th house becomes even more murkier. Your dreams could be quite vivid and precognitive, so make sure you keep a dream journal or recording device by your bedside as you slip in and out of Neptunian slumbers. Which is the dream and which is the waking reality? Ponder that, Aries. Taurus. Neptune retrogrades through your house of friends, associations, groups, and your future. Perhaps you have outgrown certain friends or associations, or there are lessons to learn that friends and groups will teach you. You may find yourself disinterested and distractive if people engage you in boring or mundane conversations. You'll find that you need spiritual or intellectual stimulation in your conversations. You may feel more like retreating into your own world, but don't totally disassociate from trusted friends and colleagues. You may be looking for answers within and not trusting advice from others as they feel more deluded than you. Music will have a positive influence on you now, and listening to music at live venues or in a group setting can be very uplifting and healing. Trance dance your way through the crowds, Taurus. Money can flow in and flow out. You will try to save for your future, but Saturn and Neptune transiting retrograde may frustrate your efforts in financial planning. Gemini, Neptune retrogrades in your house of career, so you may experience challenges in your work life or business. Gains you have made in the past few months with Saturn and Pisces now unravel, while Saturn and Neptune both retrograde. Watch out for gossip and other damaging words being spoken about you behind your back, especially in the workplace. You are having second thoughts about your chosen path and your job and wondering if perhaps you should pivot to doing something more productive, fun, and perhaps even enlightening. Use this time while Neptune is retrograde until December 6th to explore other options. Meditate on it. However, don't become a life coach or spiritual coach. That gig has been overplayed and oversaturated. Cancer, you are a material being having a spiritual experience. Or are you remembering you are a spiritual being having a material experience? You are a spiritual being and finally seeing through the delusions of the material plane to have a spiritual awakening. Neptune, a watery planet, transiting backwards through a watery sign, helps the Cancerian crab climb out of the water onto the beach and survey your landscape. Watch for signs, symbols, and synchronicities to guide your way. Retreats by the water, on the water, or in the water are beneficial now. You can take a vacation now to restore and relax. The inner world is bright. Remember to use discernment and good boundaries when dealing with the outer world and other people. Leo, Neptune retrogrades through your house of death, rebirth, and transformation. You'll be saying, "What a long, strange trip it has been." Develop your spiritual sensitivities and tune in and tune out the noise out there. You may find surges of creativity from deep in your subconscious that you have never been able to access before. Dive deep, Leo. You can be transformed and experience a rebirth in some area or all realms of your life. You'll want to turn up those spiritual lights bright because money and worldly pursuits, not so good, as Neptune dissolves some resources. Watch for financial scams or too good to be true ventures or investments. You may experience a form of betrayal that blindsides you. Be discerning and discriminating. Virgo, Saturn transits your relationship house, so there will be dissolution in relationships. Don't expect others to know what you need. You have to be very clear in voicing your needs and expectations. It may be harder than usual to set those good Virgo boundaries to get others to respect them and respect you. Romance could find you when you least expect it, with the proverbial knight in shining armor or lady in waiting riding into your life. Do some inner work to define what you're really looking for in love and get real and clear. You don't want that knight in shining armor to be an intoxicated, deceptive Don Juan who sold you the goods but can't deliver. Libra, Neptune transits your house of health and service. This is a time to be vigilant with your health and take good care of your physical body. Respond to any health issues or symptoms promptly. You might be asking, why am I so tired? As Neptune drags backward through your house of health. Don't put off visits to the doctors or other health practitioners. Tweak your supplement and diet regimes. You might find yourself particularly sensitive to sweets and toxins, as well as substances such as alcohol, stimulants, and depressives. Your skin could react to any irritants easier and rashes may appear. Move your body. Also, if you want to clear karma, offer selfless service to others in need. Scorpio, Neptune transits your house of children, of body, mind, or spirit, recreation, and creativity. It's time to turn the focus to your creative aspirations and find ways to bring them to fruition. However, you will have to be very disciplined in bringing forth your creative pursuits. Your inner artist and musician are looking for an outlet as Neptune journeys backward through your solar fifth house. Perhaps that book you've been waiting to write is shining forth through the Neptunian haze to emerge from your creative cocoon. You may find yourself more concerned or tuned in to your children or pets, like you can read their thoughts and feelings. Learn from their wisdom. Sagittarius, it's summertime, but Neptune retrograding through your fourth house of home may you have you cozy inside or swimming around in a pool or nearby watering hole. You don't want to go far afield. You might be feeling moody or emotional as Neptune pulls up old suppressed feelings. It's going to take a lot to get you out of your comfort zone, especially if it's too hot or humid out. You can beautify the inside or outside of your space to make it more soothing and healing. Go buy that beautiful fountain or set up the fishbowl and Buddha garden. Watch for leaks in and around your home, such as water, gas, oil, or other liquid leaks or smells. Could become an issue. Other situations or issues with your home, like mold or termites or previous water damage, could be discovered. Capricorn, Neptune retrograding your house of siblings, communication, transportation, and education could blur all those areas in your life. Messages could be muddled and communications confusing. There may be problems with your car or vehicles, such as gas leaks or other issues that no one can figure out, including your mechanic. Problems could arise with siblings, or they could experience health issues. Make sure communications during this cycle are clear and concise with no room for misinterpretation. You might also know your intuition getting stronger as your right brain syncs up with your left brain. Did I really see or read that, or did I just know it? These newfound intuitive abilities will help you suss out situations and people before you speak or take action. Aquarius, Neptune reverses in your house of money, resources, and values. Get really prudent where you're spending your money. Try to cut out extra expenses or lavish spending. You may notice your value system changing and what you spent money on in the past is no longer appealing to you. You may find yourself thinking about your resources and how to manifest what you need. You might muse about money and imagine your future wealth. Remember, you need to take some outer world action to make it happen. But it's okay to create it on the inner planes, first with imagination, happy thoughts, and good vibes. You got it. You know the laws of attraction. Feel it, think it, experience it in the upper room, and use Neptunian Piscean patience as you wait for it to manifest in material plane reality. You go, Aquarius. I hope you enjoyed this episode on Neptune retrograde, Into the Mystic, revisiting our dreams and visions. Remember to subscribe, download, share, and give us a 5-star review. This is Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine, sending you mystic, Neptunian crystal visions into the quantum field. Da.